Man, you guys, it has been feeling very portally. This was Tuesday. Tuesday, the 222 Tuesday was the most portal of portals I've ever portaled through. Man, I used to say, this is hype. This is hype. Man, we're making it out. We're making it out. I'm sorry if that was too loud for my mic to register, but here we are. March energy, tuning into timelines and themes for the month of March. I don't have very much else to say. We're working with, I'm trying to keep these, a bit more simple, and I don't need a whole lot of cards to, get a whole lot of messages. So we have 4 cards coming up for each pile, and, we have 4 piles to choose from in this pick a card. So go ahead and take your time. You can pause the video if you need to. And whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to hop right into these readings. What's up, group number 1? We're going to dive into March energy together, real time. I've got 1 animal card, 1 archetype card, and 2 tarot cards that we're going to get into real time together. So let's do it. So March theme, we have the thread. I always hear hanging on by a thread when I see this card in particular. So already I'm getting a download of it feels like something's going to snap or something's going to give eventually. I feel like you guys might be feeling like you're really confused or in a state of disillusionment, or maybe there's something about your path or your reality or just your life in general that feels very convoluted, or you're just not sure, right? Maybe you've been in a space of not being sure, or maybe you're entering a period where that's going to happen and your guides are kind of giving you a heads up of yo, this is going to happen. But on the other side, rest assured, there's going to be a breakthrough. There's going to be a major breakthrough in terms of how you experience yourself, how you experience the nature of reality. I'm also hearing that in general, you'll learn to have, the month of March is going to help you learn to have a lot more faith during those periods, because these things are quite inevitable along the path of, being a being, having a human incarnation at this time on the planet. So I feel like there's something in your reality that is getting ready to shift. And this might even be something too, for some of you, this might mean that you've been holding on to something for a lot longer than maybe you have needed to, right? You've been holding on to something that feels like it's barely hanging on. This could be a relationship. This could be a job. This could be, there's so many different things. Something that it feels like you've been hanging on to even against your better judgment, even though on the other side is more freedom, more bliss, more excitement, whatever it is, right? And I feel like at the very least, you're going to receive some sort of resolution or a new direction or how to move through it if it doesn't turn into some sort of tower moment where you snap or it snaps or the dynamic just falls apart by itself. But regardless of how it plays out, I feel like there's going to be a big shift in an area that has felt kind of stagnant, or just you don't want it to be there anyways, but maybe there's just been some lingering attachments, lingering cords of attachments. So we'll get deeper into what's going on in the month of March. Is there anything else with this spirit? Yeah, I'm feeling a breakthrough for sure in the month of March. So honestly, you guys might already be in this period. Majority of you guys are already going to be in this period of feeling okay, we've been doing this. Reality has been looking the same for a little bit longer than I'm comfortable with. Reality has been looking a little bit too much the same. And so maybe you're, wanting something, but it's this could also mean too that month of March, you'll be making a lot more space. So you'll be finally cutting cords that you were just holding on to because for whatever reason. My soul sister today just went through and removed some people from her friends list, and then had seconds later had an instantaneous reflection and synchronicity of the space that she made immediately. It was crazy. She said one of her videos went viral on Instagram. Seconds after she went through and finally removed all these lingering attachments in her field, she left with peace and love. She's a very pure-hearted being. But it's just interesting. We don't always know. We can't always conceptualize how we're keeping things in our field. By keeping things in our field that have long expired, we're actually cutting off the flow of abundance that wants to move through us and wants to move within our reality even more. So let's dive into your animal card for the month of March. Oh my God, I did not look at these prior. You have rebirth. So yeah, totally 1000%. over, like, you're going to feel brand new the month of March, or at least by the end of March, you're going to feel real brand new. You're going to feel like you have your wings, you've grown into your wings. You're just going to feel like there's a lot more space to be you. There's a lot more space and opportunity and room for you to be much more authentic in your expression. There's a lot of boldness coming through, even within the unsurety of what, you know, where do we go from here, or like what's next. I feel like overall, even if the timeline is not completely clear, you're going to have faith, right? Because this is a spirit card. And so, you know, in my most humble of opinions, that's like true faith. True spirituality is like, you know, you're locked into a higher timeline even before it even appears, because of how you feel. And you're just focusing on doing what you got to do now, having as much fun and joy and peace and presence as you can now. Because believe it or not, it's like, if we're too far in the future, we're not in a state of peace, right? And peace and presence go hand in hand. So it's like, you got to have that peace, you got to have that presence in order to hear the divine mind, in order to, you know, make those steps, take those leaps, go in those directions that our resistant mind may not have led us down, right? And that actually can help us collapse timelines a lot sooner, a lot quicker. So yeah, I'm feeling like you're shedding a big skin. And it's like in your physical reality, it's going to feel like that energetically tenfold. But I really do feel like I really am getting the indication. We'll get deeper with these tarot cards, but I am getting the indication this is going to be reflected in your relationships too. Or, you know, something about old dynamics have played their role and whatever, and it's time to move on, right? So let's get deeper into it with your tarot cards. You have the High Priestess. Oh my goodness. And you also have the Five of Cups. Yeah, so there might be some... like right away, I'm hearing that you already know. I feel like this is something that you've already been intuiting for a while. This is an ending that you've been intuiting for a while, something in your field, or maybe you even hear your guides tell you often, or maybe in some way this has to do with something that you have known for a while is going to end, or you've known for a while that it's ran its course, right? And with the Five of Cups, I feel like either both people, I feel like this is saying that the people involved are going to feel like they're going to miss you, right? There is, you know, just because we know that we're going to feel more free, there can also be a guilt of like going in directions and removing people from our timelines and removing people from our life. There can be a level of guilt because it's like, well, you know, they did A, B, C, and D for me or whatever, but you know, use your integrity. Really tune into your integrity and your intuition, right? Is what the Spirit is really coming through here and saying. However, it's important to remember that, you know, at the end of the day, it's all out of love. At the end of the day, like, if it's uplifting to you, you got to do it, because it's going to be uplifting for the rest of humanity and all those other people that come in contact with your field. If it's down, if it's weighing you down, if it's pulling you down, if it feels like you're selling your soul in some kind of way, like it's not honoring the truth and the core of who you are, you got to move on from it, because that's denigrating to you. So it's going to be denigrating to the other people coming into your field, right? So I'm really hearing you're going to feel very powerful regardless. This is something that you have, because you have the Spirit card and the High Priestess card, this is definitely something that Spirit has been communicating to you. You've been getting signs and synchronicities. You've probably been doing other readings about the situation, and it's like you've been holding on for dear life, holding on, right? What was it? Holding on by a thread. And so now it's time, right? It's time to move on. And I feel like you'll make the decision when it feels ready, or when it feels right, or at the very least you'll receive insight, and that insight will give you this inner feeling of like knowing what to do, or knowing the steps to take from there, right? But ultimately, I do feel like it does involve walking away from old realities and, you know, focusing on the space that you're making again, just following your heart for the pure fact of following it, just for the pure, you know, it needs no reason. Like my friend that did that thing earlier today, she's like, I this was not preconceived. I just felt the urge to like, you know, block some people and unfriend certain people to like, you know, cut those cords. And she was like, seconds later, this happened. So it was almost like Spirit was confirming, and it was a video about following your heart, right? So you really can't make these things up, and they get much more subtle. The deeper you walk your path, the longer you walk your path. But ultimately, I feel like there will be some letdowns or some hard feelings, and just trust that everyone will get what they need, and everyone will come to the realizations that they need when they're meant to. And we really are all playing the parts in gross ways, so bigger, more obvious ways, and in very subtle ways to help free one another, right? But it's all about the lens of perception you're viewing through, right? So again, being in alignment with your integrity, and, you know, doing your due diligence as a being walking the path of Dharma to really sense the intentions and really sense into the purity of heart within these other beings that you're working with too. And if it's not there, then, you know, peace and love. You know, we're all going back to the same place eventually. So yeah, great energies for March. I'm excited for you guys. Keep me posted if you know, if it resonates. But rebirth experience, you're going to feel very aligned, very close to spirit. I feel like even in the midst of all of these changes, you're going to feel really good. You're going to know that you did the right thing all in all. So pile number 1, thank you for tuning in. Please like this video if it resonated, comment any synchronicities down below, subscribe to my channel if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pile number 2? Welcome to your reading in regards to March overview. So I have 1 animal card, 1 archetype card, and 2 tarot cards. We're going to get into them together real time. So we're going to start with your archetype. So the main theme for pile number 2, the month of March, we have the crone. So, you know, the crone is all about wisdom. The crone is a being that she's gone from, you know, her youthful maiden type of stage, and she's entered into a state. This is like the card that talks about feminine wisdom, at least to me. So there could be a deepening of your psychic abilities. There could be a deepening of just wisdom in general. And generally, when we deepen into wisdom, when we are expanding our lens of perception, what comes with greater wisdom and embodying greater wisdom comes greater levels of peace, right? Not needing to prove yourself, being really content with exactly where you're at, knowing everything's going to work out in your favor, no sooner, no later than when it's meant to. So I feel like you might also be receiving. I'm hearing that you might be coming into some new information as well, or a new teacher or something, a new type of guide that is going to really expand your lens or add to your mystique, add to your wellspring of inner knowingness and wisdom. It's just going to complement everything that you've learned up to this point in time. So the month of March really does seem to have to do with your internal world. But of course, we have 2 tarot cards here too. So this is not a completely coherent reading quite yet. I just like to see the message build off of it as we go. So, or build off of itself. So yeah. I'm also really being drawn to the fact that this crow is holding a medallion. So something very precious coming in the month of March in the form of knowledge. It could be because you're deepening your gifts. If you're a being that utilizes your gifts in some way, your spiritual gifts in some way, or just, you know, your talents in whatever way, doesn't even have to be in the realms of spirituality. You know, I feel like you will see an increase in being reflected back, your levels of integrity, your levels of alignment. So I feel like there will be people wanting to work with you or collaborate with you, or whatever it is you have to offer. People will want to compensate you for it, right? Or just at least extend their deepest gratitude. Like you will receive reflections to a more, I feel like, to a greater level than you have before of just the amount of change you are making, and how your wisdom, your unique access point to the divine through your lens of perception, how that is really helping other people along their path, along their own dharma. So let's deepen into it. With your animal card, you have the butterfly. So month of March, I feel like you are feeling very beautiful. Like you're feeling very comfortable in who you are. And let's not forget that the butterfly has to go through quite a bit of darkness in order to come out on the other side of that metamorphosis with its wings, you know, fully grown and being able to operate, right? So sometimes, you know, I ordered a caterpillar kit last summer, or whenever the lockdowns were first happening, I ordered a caterpillar kit, say that 8 times fast, for my daughter, and we did that together, and it was really cool to see that whole process. But some of the caterpillars, like, they even say in the instructions that not all of them are going to make it out alive, right? So I feel like this is really saying that because there is a lot of wisdom coming through here alone with the crone, I feel like there's a lot of darkness that you have gone through in your incarnation in the month of March. I feel like, this just feels like a pile that just feels so good. You're like, I made it through. Like, I will survive. I have survived. And I feel like you just feel so free. You feel so free. And it really, the things that you've gone through have led you down avenues and directions in your life that even if you didn't feel free in the past, even if it felt like your wings were clipped or you weren't going to make it out alive, like that was, you really see at this point in time, pile number 2, how that was supposed to shape you in a certain way and how eventually you made it out alive, right? So I feel like the month of March, you're just feeling very good. You're feeling very free. You're feeling like rebirthed, right? You're feeling like a new version of yourself. And it definitely is aiding to other people, like wanting to give you more. I feel like you're very magnetic, you're very attractive in the month of March, holistically, like energetically, but you know, the butterfly is very appealing to the physical eyes as well. So it's also a being that moves very lightly, like treading lightly. So I feel like you leave the world and you leave people feeling very light. And this could also have to do with your wisdom. Like you're coming into like you're deepening into your wisdom in a way that like leaves people feeling truly light within their being, regardless of what is going on the planet. You have just this really beautiful gift, and you're really starting to see that to a more profound level, just how unique you are in your expression and in your ability to really set people free, despite their darkness, despite their challenges, despite their setbacks. So we're going to get deeper here into the message with your tarot cards. You have the Mother of Cups. You also have the Hierophant. Yeah, so strong teacher vibes were most certainly coming through. I mean, I don't know if I said that yet, but that was definitely what I was feeling, that you guys in some way are very, you're very smart. You're very articulate. You're able to, again, break down things in a very unique way. And again, it's coming from a place of, with the crone, it's coming from a place of true wisdom, right? Authentic wisdom. So it's not just like, you know, this is the age of collective wisdom. So the age of the guru, the age of the teacher is dead. It is long gone. It's over. So it's like, we're always going to be building, and it's like a collective learning, right? So it's like, you know, we're in this age of Aquarius where it's really easy to access certain teachings. But if anything, that's just to reactivate, bring you back up to speed with all the lifetimes you spent, because this is an old soul group, right? The crow is coming through 2 times here. So 2 times here too. So very old soul, very psychic, very in tune, especially with this Mother of Cups, the Queen of Cups coming through. So very like emotionally aware, very in your body, very present, very peaceful, very generous as well. So I feel like just what you are delivering to people is just like, the lightning bolt always reminds me of, it's clear, it's concise, it's exactly what someone needs, exactly when they need it. You don't have to continue to ramble on. Like the month of March, I feel like you're really just feeling so well articulate within yourself, right? And you're not worried about who's going to get me, who's going to understand my message. Like you're not worried about tiptoeing over your truth as maybe you once did in the past. Because with the crone, there's a sense of maturity. There's a sense of like, okay, like, you know, no matter what I do, people are going to misperceive my best of intentions. And there's some people out there getting away with stuff that, you know, whose intentions are not good, and vice versa, you know? So like at the very least, I'm just going to honor myself. I'm just going to honor my process. I'm going to grow into my wings. I'm going to use my wings, right? But there's a lot here that might indicate that some of you guys are also, like the crow always reminds me of like psychics and people that are just really in the realms of esoteric teachings and mystical teachings. So really involved in the realms of like, you know, what is a mystic? It's someone that acknowledges that the very subtle realms are just as real, if not more real than the world of form. So that's what this reminds me of. So I feel like you guys in the month of March, whatever you're doing, however you're being, whatever energy you've been just like sifting in or sitting in with that, you know, the caterpillar into the butterfly, it's just like sitting in a cocoon of its own essence. So you have just been baked into the most beautiful, exquisite being. And in March, I feel like you're going to see just how many people respect you, just how many people admire you. There's a lot of people coming to you for advice in the month of March. There's a lot of people that are wanting to compensate you or to work with you in some sort of way. So if you are if you are some sort of teacher, like it could even be fitness instructor, yoga instructor, or like tarot reader, or someone that talks about astrology, like whatever utilizes your own wisdom, your own gifts on a public level where you're like working with other people. I really do see that. You know, you're really aligned, you're really in your integrity, you're really in your power, and I'm hearing it's only going to get better. So beautiful reading, pal number 2. Thank you for being here. Please like this video if it resonated. Comment any messages or synchronicities down below if it resonates. Subscribe to my channel if you've been here before, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pal number 3? So I don't know what the hell happened here, but the portal energy is still loud and clear. I already recorded pal 3 and pal 4, but then the footage isn't there. So we're going to do this again. Good thing these have been short and sweet and to the point. So I already have seen your guys' cards. Hopefully the same juiciness and beauty will come through that came through earlier, because I've been on one. So speaking of, You have the one. This is your main theme for the month of March is you're going to feel very in flow in the month of March. We also have 10-10-10 coming through, which is the ultimate number for like completion. So I feel like there's something within yourself, right? You're going to be feeling very brand new is what is coming through. My pile number 3. You're feeling very new, like an old cycle has ended. You've finally been able to break free of an old karmic cycle. And because of it, like your entire mystique has been upgraded, right? The way you express yourself is feeling very spot on. The way you look, I feel like this, month of March might even be like you're feeling so brand new within yourself that you get external upgrades. Like sometimes we go through these huge shifts in our paradigm and within ourselves that how we dress, how we speak, how we act, like our hair, right? We get tattoos, we can get body mods, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if the month of March you feel very spontaneous in that regard, or in some way you have external shifts in your appearance that tend to match, or that begin to match this internal wellspring of just feeling very complete in yourself and just feeling very, very different. Like because it's the one card is coming up, I feel like you're feeling very connected to source. You're feeling very connected. You're feeling very in flow with your divine destiny. You're feeling like ideas are coming to you quite effortlessly. You're very aligned to your soul stream and your soul's plan, right? So because we have the Magician coming up and it is a cheetah, I feel like this is saying that those fine lines between did I create this, did I manifest this, or am I just so intuitive right now, so in flow with things that I just intuit that something was going to happen. And so I gave this really great example in the first recording that I want to give to you guys again about one time I was feeling very in flow. I was working with like this great group of people at the time. They felt great at the time, but you live and you learn, right? But it was very relevant for exactly where I was at that point in my incarnation. So I was working with this group of people and things were going great. And I was having a conversation with someone about how I never meet Marissas. I never meet Marissas that are spelled the same way. Like generally it's when I do meet a Marissa, finally, which is like, few and far between, they either have 2 R's and 2 S's or 2 R's and 1 S, but it's never spelled the same. Like when I do, on the rare occasion I meet another Marissa, it's never spelled the same, right? So I had picked up a class for another instructor at this fitness boutique I was teaching at. I had picked up a class for someone at a time that I don't normally, right? Because we would do that a lot. Sometimes things would come up and someone would need a class sub or whatever. So I was teaching it at a time, I feel like you guys probably already know where this is going, that I don't normally. And so just 2 hours before my class, I had that conversation. Then I go in and the woman at the front desk told me I had a new client. So someone that just had never been to the studio before. And I kid you not, I already knew. In that moment, I already freaking knew. I was like, I already knew. And sure enough, she shows me the name and it's Marissa spelled exactly the same. Exactly the same, right? And I was just having that conversation how I never meet Marissas, and when I do, it's not spelled the same. And then I meet a Marissa that day spelled the exact same. And so I remember going home after that class, and I was like, just really in the state of like, am I so powerful? Am I so powerful that within 2 hours of me having that conversation that I called in a Marissa within this 20-mile radius to come take a fitness class, right? Not just a fitness class, but at a time that I don't normally teach, that I also happen to be teaching. Right? I was like, am I that powerful, or am I just so in tune? Am I just so in flow with things that of course, I was having that conversation. And of course, that conversation happened because I was going to step into that reality. And so I feel like that's the paradigm that my pile number 3s are really going to be existing in, or the energies, right? You're feeling like you're really, to a deep degree, like you guys are so tuned into your soul stream and you're feeling very brand new. I mean, 10-10-10 is like that's the ultimate number of completion. That's the ultimate number of new beginnings. That's the ultimate number in terms of just like feeling really brand new, right? So I feel like the month of March, there's a lot coming through about your expression. You're looking good. Things are feeling right energetically. You're saying the right thing at the right time. I feel like you're very magnetic. People are really drawn to you at this time. And so what came through, what's coming through now, and what came through the first time I read this is like, with the devil and the cheetah to come up together, the devil and the magician, coming up together is like, with great power comes great responsibility. And so recognize that because you are so in tune with higher aspects, because you're so in tune with, your soul self, beings that don't necessarily know how to make that connection within themselves are going to project a lot onto you, right? And so there might be a lot of karmic ties or a lot of karmic things, a lot of karmic baggage coming up and not only in your lifetime, but there's going to be a lot of people projecting from a place of feeling like they have to fill some sort of void within themselves. And you are like the object of a lot of people's attention. And I'm sorry, that's like how I was just guided to say it, but that's what it feels like. You're the object of many people's desires and many people's attention in the month of March. And so just being able to stay rooted in what you know to be true and acting from levels of purity, acting from levels of integrity to the best of your ability. And again, you're so powerful, you're so connected to your soul stream that it doesn't really matter if you're like, did I create this or am I just in flow with things? Like, as long as you're doing your best to just put one foot in front of the other, like doing things when it makes sense to do things and not making it mean anything more or less, you're going to be good. You're going to be golden. But there's a lot of like, you're so connected to source in the month of March that it's like you barely think something and it's happening, right? That's what's coming up. So spirit is also coming through and just reminding you to be mindful of what you're focusing on, and also being mindful that you're going to have opportunities in the month of March to really kind of test your foundation, to see where it's built upon sand, or to see where like old distorted ways of perceiving yourself in the world and the nature of reality are going to come in to kind of help you tie off some old karmic loose ends, some old karmic threads. So just be mindful of that moving forward. So not only are you going to learn better the month of March how to navigate other people projecting onto you and just like desiring you in a certain way that may or may not be how you desire them, you're also going to see like too, okay, you know, where am I still lost in halls of smoke and mirrors, right? And how can I clear my lens of perception? How can I see more through the eyes of God, the eyes of the One, in order to release myself from these attachments, or at the very least not perpetuate them, right? So again, with great power comes great responsibility. You're going to be feeling it. You're going to be very attractive if you are a teacher in some way. I feel like your gifts are just amplifying. You are becoming much more sure of yourself. You're sounding much more sure of yourself. And it's because it's coming from like the source of wisdom is coming from a very organic place, a very authentic place. So if this resonated, pile number 3, please leave a thumbs up on this video, comment any synchronicities down below, subscribe if you've been to my channel before, and I hope I see you soon. All right, pile number 4, I had to re-record your reading. I had to do pile 3 over and pile 4 because this portal shit is still being portally. And, you know, I recorded it fine. It recorded fine, and then I went into my footage and it was not there. So big shifts happening in my life. Big shifts probably happening in your life, but the energy speaks, right? There's a lot of potency that we're working with, and it's very clear because all of these piles were so potent. Like this really does show the amount of just the level of advancement of those beings that are drawn to my channel. And it is what it is, right? We're all, you know, there's no hierarchy, but there are beings that have just very clearly spent many incarnations before and have gathered and garnished a lot of wisdom throughout their incarnations, right? And so luckily I get to read for those types of beings. So month of March for this pile. Generally with the first 2 piles, and you know, the first time I did this, I turned them all over one at a time, and it was kind of like a surprise that built off of itself. So this is going to be very short, very sweet, very to the point, because I already, you know, kind of know the theme of this month for you guys coherently. So you're deepening into yourself. There's a lot of expansion this month for you, guys. Rapid expansion. You see how we have rays coming out from the center of the being. We have rays coming out from the cheetah too. So out of all the piles, this is the pile that had the most quick moving energy. And you have reached this point where things are rushing into your reality very quickly because you've done a lot of self-introspection, my pile number 4. You've really done the work. You've really gotten to know yourself. I think it's interesting too that one of the reasons why this is such a potent month for you, and one of the reasons why you are drawing in and attracting a lot of people within the month of March is because like the place that you sit when you relate to other people is very different than what it once was, and it's very different than for most people. So you see how this guy is kind of like blending into the background, like the person is kind of like you know, you can't really see it. The person is not what's emphasized here. What's being emphasized is like the color, the aura, right? The auric field around it and this pearl in the center. So the reason why you're so magnetic and there's a lot of success rushing in for you at this time is because you've done a lot of soul searching. You've done a lot of self-realization work. You really have gotten to know who you are at your core. And the reason why there are many opportunities for people to like, the reason why there's going to be a ton of people in the month of March coming for you and like wanting to be with you, and you're attracting in a lot of soul family, and you'll also be attracting in like counterpart dynamics that are more romantic is because you meet people on the level that it matters, right? So whereas some people are just relating to people from the level of their personality, that kind of like cuts them off from relating to more people. But because you relate to this human experience and yourself and others from the level of the soul, you're much more relatable. Like it doesn't matter who you're talking to, you're speaking to the heart of humanity. You're speaking to the relevancy of a human incarnation. And so there's a lot of people like rushing. I'm seeing this as rushing towards you. There's a lot of great things rushing towards you, and it's all to celebrate and to exemplify, and like you've done the work, right? And so if you guys have some sort of platform or whatever you guys are working on, whatever your dharma is, like expect that to increase in the month of March, whatever that means for you. I feel like it's very fast because we do have the cheetah. So whatever it is that you're doing, like you are going to see profound. Like this might even be like an overnight blow up or something that something goes viral, or you're just getting a lot of attention. I feel like a lot more than maybe you're used to. So it's good. Keep it up. So with this could absolutely be saying that there is a romantic type of counterpart coming towards you, someone that wants to offer you love. But again, I feel like this is also saying that there's just many beings that see themselves in you. And it's like, sometimes when people don't know how to become self-sourced, it's like they feel our connection to our higher selves. They feel our connection to source, and they want to kind of piggyback off of that because they don't necessarily know how to find that within themselves. I'm hearing that you're meeting people that are at your levels of perception, that are within your same realm. Like they're operating within the same densities and the same dimensions as you are, right? They're very perceptive. They're very aware, just as you are. And I feel like you exude this energy in the month of March, and this is something that has been building upon itself. You exude this energy of come correct or don't come at all, right? So I feel like whoever's coming in, whatever's coming in, like you're ready for it. You are seeing through a higher lens than many people. You are seeing this success that's coming in for what it is. And you know that it's not because of you. It's not because of the smaller personality. Again, it's because of you understand that it's a reflection of all of the unearthing you've done, of the purity of your own self, right? And so I feel like this is saying like whatever is happening, don't get swept up in the wheel of cause and effect, right? Don't get swept up in like, this is happening because I'm good, or this is happening because I'm bad, or, don't generally, sometimes because we have this air card and we have the fire card, those are both elements that are, those are ungrounded elements. Doesn't mean they're bad, but it just means that, what makes a fire more fiery is air, right? And so I feel like something's coming into your experience in the month of March. Could be a lover. Generally, lovers tend to do this to us. But when we have a love interest sparked, like what happens to our levels of passion across the board? It goes up, and it's like our insights, we're getting a lot more insights. We're becoming much more psychic. We're just getting downloads left and right. So I feel like there is a potential to become ungrounded, and spirit is saying like, continue to come back to yourself, right? Meditate. Don't forget what has gotten you to this point, and it's by going within. It's by getting to know yourself, right? And that's why the month of March, I feel like, whatever you guys got going on, there might even be a significant transit happening for you guys that is just like supporting holistically, like all of the stars have aligned to pile number 4, seeing the fruits of their unearthing, seeing the fruits of their effort, right? And so for some of you guys, it most certainly is going to feel like a counterpart that can keep up with you, right? Someone coming in that can finally keep up with you. And if you already are in a relationship with someone, at the very least, this is just saying that a significant relationship could be a friendship, could be, a work opportunity. This could just be soulmates in general are coming into your life that just kind of reflect back to you, just like your purity, your wholeness, people that are already whole within themselves. And so when you guys get together, it just feels like a show. It just feels like so much fun. It feels so good. It feels so free. It feels so innocent, right? So the month of March, stay grounded. There's a lot that's going to feel like it's happening on an energetic level, and a lot is going to be reflected back to you externally. So stay grounded. This is going to add to your wisdom. I feel like you've already come so far within yourself. So you'll be able to I'm really getting the sense of your guides coming through and saying, just remain in a neutral disposition as much as you can, because a lot of exciting things are going to happen. So yeah, enjoy it, right? Enjoy the human experience, honor the human experience, but just stay as equanimous within yourself as you can, because every time there's a high, there's inevitably going to be that low. And so the more you're attached to that high, the more you're going to be, thrown around by that low when it inevitably does come, right? So just ride the waves as they come. Enjoy all of it. You've earned this. You deserve this. Many blessings coming to you. My pile number 4, please like this video if it resonated. Subscribe if you've been here before. Comment any synchronicities down below, and I hope to see you soon.